it's good to be here this morning. But you saw I saw the chief clerk, the statement from the chief clerk. They released the letter from the chief clerk is posted in the chat room. I think we can begin by that. But I want us to listen to Musa Belete. I don't know, for some reason I'm beginning to to like this guy.
Who, Musa?
Yeah. You know.
Not for representative, for president. As a candidate for president. Very, very clear. I'll be on that presidential ballot. There will be nothing that will change that. I want to be very clear. I'm not, I want, let some people stop checking on themselves. Let's be very clear. There's nobody who's running for president like you are right now that is better than me, that has a better IQ than me, that has a better output than me, and that can do better than me, that can properly articulate the needs and aspiration of this country. Will you let your former, at that time, will you let your former district go? You can recall it again. Can recall it? 2029, October, I will be on the ballot, not for representative. For president. As a candidate for president. Very, very clear. I'll be on that presidential ballot. There will be nothing that will change that. I want to be very clear. I'm not, I want, let some people stop checking on themselves. Let's be very clear. There's nobody who's running for president like you are right now that is better than me, that has a better IQ than me, that has a better output than me, and that can do better than me, that can properly articulate the.
And these are some of the reasons why I decided to share this about the points mentioned. So Belete believes that nobody currently who wants to be president has a better IQ than him, has a better argument than him, is more knowledgeable than him to solve Liberia's problem. I don't know him closely like that, but I follow his leadership history from other places. I know normally there will be controversies, but he sounds so confident about his ability, and that's what I admire about his engagement. That's the first thing I look for personally in a leader. That's self-confidence. You must have confidence in yourself to lead. You must trust, you must know your ability, you must know your strength, you must know your capacity, you must trust that you have the capacity, the strength, the ability to lead, to provide leadership. You must be aware of what is happening around you. And once you're not aware, because when you are aware of what's happening around you, it places you in a better position to make decisions, strong, bold, decisive decisions for those you want to lead. For a few minutes, I want to see you as a political leader that I'm interviewing. Do you see that in the Musa ability that we follow, that we've known over the years?
I don't know. With all due respect to Musa and the rest of the other folks that are putting themselves up for leadership in our country, which is a good thing. And of course, our democracy calls for that. But for some reason, I believe the urgency in our country now does not require distraction. And we need to remain focused, because from all indication, unless you want to be you want to ignore the facts. From all indication, the ratings are there. It's going to be a two-horse race. So in my mind, spending time confusing the Liberian people with Musa or other people sometimes will just further complicate or the conversation in a way that will yield absolutely no result.
Just specifically the two-horse race thing, because
yeah,
when it's a two-horse race,
I mean, United Party and CDC.
Okay, from the political party perspective,
exactly.
So it doesn't consider the individual that will be the face of the party.
Unless if there's a possibility that United Party will carry Musa as its candidate.
Okay.
Because I know clearly that CDC will not carry him. right? So if the Unity Party will carry him there, of course, then we can start to talk about him.
Okay.
But it's a good thing for the for the politics and the space we have, right? Because look, the reason this is so right is because the political opposition in Liberia have remained very tacit in its approach to government. And most of that is because a lot of them are afraid and they have succumbed to pressure. So whether
weak pressures too, because those are things that these are pressures
government's pressure. We all saw Musa when he just started. We saw the vigor, the force, and the energy he went with.
Yeah.
The moment Musa began to get slapped from the government, affecting his business and all those things. So my thing is, did Musa do the requisite calculation before entering into mainstream active presidential political race, going to establishing a political party? Obviously, there will be consequences in political decision making. So when the consequences starts to come and they start to backpedal, then people like us who are very critical start to say that, oh yeah, I'm not sure the actual wherewithal is there. But he can make the political statements. Mm-hmm. He can go ahead and try to project himself, right? The energy we saw the CMC move with, right? 5-6 months ago. I mean, clearly we are not seeing that now. It's dwindling, it's going down. Well, due respect to Musa, but I think like Luther Tapper said, sometimes it sounds offensive, but a lot of these folks are going to be helping Verb, to balance the political equation and ensure that there is multi-party presence on our electoral processes. So to the point where Musa can brag, he's educated. Liberal presidential problem has not been education. We've had several of them, no. Right? So if that's the only, stuff he's depending on, then I don't know. He has to find something else because we've not had issue. Mrs. Shirley was here, very educated, right? Mr. Weah was here, very educated, very exposed, right? Mr. Bwaka is also here, brag of decades of experience, right? And this is what we still have on our hands. What we are mostly looking for is the willpower. Is a presidential candidate or an individual in Liberia who will be willing, right, to let go whatever personal, benefit that they may accrue on behalf of the country. So if you have business attachment, you have all these things and blah, blah, blah. At this point, Liberia does not need somebody who has something, who will be more vested in protecting something for themselves. We need a selfless leader. We need that. That's what, if somebody is coming with that, then we start to put them on the pedestal. Oh yeah, the man, but yeah, Mr. Billy is a fun guy, but again, let him try. Let's see what happens. Yeah, he did a great job. He defied the odds in Nimba District 7. But this one here, we're talking about nationally. And even Mr. George Weah, with all of his celebrity clout and everything, right? On the first one, on the first test, didn't. So how is it Musa ability, is gonna is gonna be that? Yeah, pull that trigger on the first try. A good friend Alice Cummins, who's moving from 7% to 1%, and he's just going behind. Still struggling to that can't.
You did 1% adjustment no more than
can't contribute. What kind of growth man you can't contact? You just move from 7%. You can't.
So we have Mr. Cummins here next week.
That's my man. On
the show. But I will let her get it baby hat on. Probably I get with him. Yeah. Oh, you won't get it baby hat on. So we have Mr. Cummins here next week on the show, and then tomorrow we have Councillor Tiawon Konglo at 8 to 9 o'clock on the show tomorrow morning.
Yeah, another man too. Yeah. He called from Nima, very educated.
So we'll have.
He took a boom all over the place.
Perfect moment for us to place all of these concerns before him.
But y'all shouldn't be afraid, and these things.
Yes, and this is where I want to come in. Many times, politicians, in fact, look, you can be a political leader, and you do not going to face tough times. Radical platforms. There are platforms. You see, I'm not a freak of Donald Trump, but this is somebody who does not scare away from radical terrains. He walks into your terrain and dismantle you or battle you in your terrain. You spend 6 months, 1 year performing radical analysis about the US government or Trump's administration and policy. The moment Trump gets 5 minutes to interact with you, he uses those 5 minutes to dismantle almost everything or every criticism that you have proffered against he or his administration. That's boldness. That's decisiveness. Those are extra political qualities that political leaders should have. You can be scaring away or running away from platforms that are viewed to be critical. When it goes to the point where you feel disrespected, that is another thing. But just criticism. Hey, you can be running away from criticism because from a platform because somebody criticizes you. So we have to. This is a problem of this. This is a Liberian problem. All our leaders. I'm going down there when I make it in the morning or in the evening. They criticize people. You have to be criticized. I remember Brownie Samuka. That's why I started respecting Brownie Samuka. Mm-hmm. At the time where I was FM, because I was at best now, everything. Because I would get up in the morning and deal with Brownie Samuka, deal with the government, deal with everybody. The next day, if he would be on the show, Brownie Samuka would take a telephone and call and say, I want to appear on the show tomorrow morning, and Brownie Samuka will walk into Voice FM and deal with the issues raised. As a Jackson, another person who will walk into your terrain. Those are brave leaders. Leadership. You can't run away from the problem because whatever the case is, we command an audience that you need. You need the audience that we have. So if you go into all your teenage parents, we will just use 2 hours, 30 minutes, or less than 2 hours, 30 minutes, and dismantle everything you say. So you need the audience. We don't have to be friends, but you have to have a relationship that will benefit you and benefit us. Because when you come, your audience will be able to listen to us. When you come and speak, our audience will be able to listen to you. That's the beauty of democracy. It creates the corridor, the avenue for us to interact, exchange ideas. We don't have to agree. So, y'all gotta stop running away, y'all gotta stop running away. Because we'll always be here critiquing. And there are many issues. We have many reasons, strong reasons to criticize and critique all of your activities, whether it's in the private sector, whether it's in the public sector. We have reasons to critique or criticize. But you have to come and speak, clarify, talk to your audience and our audience too. But I think Belete is a fun species. I believe in his strategy. He has a strong marketable political strategy that any political party will need to work with.
He has what?
He has a decent political strategy that any political party would need to work with.
Building bridges?
Belete is... You see, Belete has something that not many politicians have. I think if you look at all of the presidential candidates, there are 2 presidential candidates that have this particular quality.
Okay.
Belete and Mr. Weah. They cut across, they have friends, beneficiaries across the geopolitical spectrum of our country. Mr. Weah can walk anywhere. There will be friends, people who will be waiting to open this thing and have a conversation with him. Whether it's in the Unity Party, whether it's where, there will be people waiting to talk to him, have a conversation. I see that in Belete, and I think that's a fun connection that any politician will need. Any political party can tap into that connection of Belete to get things across. Whether he brings 5,000 persons to you, that's a good number. Whether he brings 10,000 persons to you, that's a good number. Whether he brings his financial infrastructure to you or financial machinery to you, that's a good thing any political party would need. So having ability to endorse you in a runoff election is something that we all can envision, can imagine in 2029 after the first round. If the election is going to go second round now, political parties will need ability to work with. He comes from a community.
So you finish saying the man fit though.
No, obviously ability will go without make it to the second round if there's a second round. Yes.
All the bragging, the players in general, man, bragging.
No, man, no.
The only play good.
No.
All right, you are good to be. So basically, what Austin is trying to say, Mr. Belede, yeah, you have a fun case.
He's a good collaborator.
So yeah, you're making a case for somebody to want to consider you for endorsement in the second round.
Exactly.
With all of the investment, and I'm thinking, and this is where Liberian politicians need to be selfless a little bit, right? Sometimes it can't just be about you wake up one morning, I won't be president, and then you just jump into it, right?
You didn't just jump into it?
No, it don't have to be Belede, but okay. I'm talking generally now.
Yeah.
Because, you have to be able to do your chances calculation. Mm-hmm. And to do that, you have to study all of the political variables.
You don't want to just jump into a process
exactly
that squeezes you in that
even the layman out there, even the cyclists can look at you clearly and tell you that obviously this is going to be your ultimate end. You got to make it difficult for your rivals to predict, your end.
Exactly.
So that a lot of preparation got to go into that. A lot of study got to go into that, but a lot of them don't pay for expertise in this area. So they just jump. I got money,
spending money against something.
Yeah, people calling my name. Like I see my little sister Cornelia is doing in district number 13. She keeps trying. I'm closer to be people in United Party. So obviously, why can't I be represented? And it goes beyond that. You have to be able to do a technical assessment, right? Understand the geopolitical dynamic in whatever territory you're running. Understand the culture and how develop strategy to penetrate.
And
test the strategy.
And I agree with you because you see, in developed countries, they do survey. I think Kumis tried to introduce that idea with the CPP thing, and
yeah, but timing he did his.
Yes.
You enter into the mess, the minute mess you up, then you won't do survey.
And I see that most of our politicians, they focus on either their financial infrastructure that they have more than the possibility of winning. Instead of focusing on the possibility, because when you are able to assess the ground, know the possibility, because where am I welcome? Where is my strength? I grew up in this community. I think I can convince this community to easily stand by me.
Mm-hmm.
How many persons residing in this community where I come from? Based on those numbers, okay, with 5,000 or 3,000 persons from this community, I think I can get 2,000 persons to support me.
Mm-hmm.
With these 2,000 people, I think 1,000 of them may have the capacity to win one person. With this capacity of this analysis, it means we show I need 4,000 persons. What else do I need? I need to move out in other communities. What are the closer communities to my community? Because you can't just jump and move on here. You go way further. So that's the connection you want to try to build.
Everybody not be lucky like Jerry.
No.
You just consume money, you start cooking well all over the community and roll the poor for you.
The poor rare.
Yeah.
So you have to sit down and calculate. And I think Cornelia has an advantage. It might be a small or tiny advantage, but she has an advantage. She has a prospect that she could grow if she works on some personal details that I think she needs to work on if she must grow the advantage that she has in the district over Papi. Because the kind of influence that Papi has been able to nurture in that district, I found it difficult for anybody who just want to just jump into a process because I'm connected or because I'm known or because I have money. That connection has to resonate with the voters who are seated at the root of the communities in the district. Papi doesn't need money to wake up in the morning and go to any community and interact with the people there. He doesn't need money. He doesn't need a bag of money. He just needs a feast. Just to take a telephone and say, I will be in your community this morning and blah, blah, blah. The people will come out to interact with him. So, it requires strategy. Benete's strategy worked in Nima District 7 for him.
Mm-hmm.
If he can spend time to expand that strategy in other places, targeting particular communities.
It will be hard because
it will be difficult.
He will not be able to put Yellow Machine in all of
sure,
Liberia. But he did that in the
sure.
7.
But it's good. It will be able to help to grow him, to grow his number, small. Prince Johnson managed to maintain his third place. We know the Nima factor, but he was always winning Magibi. He was always winning Magibi. So consistently third place in Montserrat and all. That was a good strategy for Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson didn't spend money.
Prince had the tribal advantage. He exploited the tribal card very well, which of course you have to identify.
Agree, utilizing the different Nima communities in Magibi, Montserrat, and all of that. Yeah,
so he succeeded in doing that. So you have to identify your niche in politics. You have to find something that you can penetrate.
And that tribal team play for him well.
Exactly. So you got to find something.
Can Cornelia utilize that in District 13? No, because there's a small community there. And how well is she even connected to the community, to the tribal community in Montserrat? Those are all factors too.
You know, she lived there. She did plenty of things there. And plenty of things. So everything culminates into what the community knows it for. But I think the greatest advantage that Cornelia has, is the fact that, and I respect that too, and she has to really cherish that at her age. And, she gained to have gained the endorsement of the Unity Party, one of the major political parties. That's a big plus for any young man or any young person in any political contestation, right?
Yeah.
For Unity Party, that's a whole big thing. But now, is a Herculean task also for you to be able to translate
into the
numbers versus your rival. So your rival also has another endorsement from the other biggest political party. And mind you now, District 13 is polarized, but I can tell you significantly there are huge concentration of CDC supporters there. Equally so, there are people who consider themselves elite and they associate they associate with the Unity Party. But then to penetrate with these people, you can't just use party paraphernalia. You need something more than that. But then Color Green adapts a strategy, right, that penetrates into Cornelius' territory way more than Cornelia has to penetrate Color Green's territory. For example, Color Green can use the humanitarian strategy, try to be a humanitarian into the territory of Cornelia. Of course, he will draw some people on his side.
Mm-hmm.
But then what will Cornelia use to crack into the CDC side? Most times, Cornelia carry herself in a very condescending way towards sedition. Like I'm way better than you, and people like that. So these kind of sentiments are against her. So it making it difficult. Color Green has a little way of trying to get something from you. So you have to develop the strategy to get something from Color Green. So I'm told ever since she went to the Ministry of Youth and Sport, and her strategists have designed and deduced that Color Green, he gave gratuity, and that is why people like him, and so she's going to adapt the same posture. Trust me, you're going to waste your money, right? Because this thing, Color Green, assuming the gratuity aspect is what you want to focus on, this brother has been doing it way before he became lawmaker. And when he became lawmaker, he only doubled on it. He never stopped it. He continued that light. So that one is a culture. They may make a cultural practice in District 13. You reach out to people, making your walk to people's homes, see you, and just put something down.
But between me and you, if elections were here today and I'm in District 13 and I'm supposed to vote, I will vote for Cornelia.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't vote for her. I vote for Color Green.
Okay.
Because it's about, politics is about the people, right? It's not about a certain people, but it's about the people. Mm-hmm. And that people must be all inclusive. And it takes time for people to unpack and understand. Most time, and that's what I tell people. Sometimes I get people say, "Oh, my man, you can't." I say, "Me, my hand in politics," because my thing about politics, the way I see it, the society has not come up to that level.
And that's the thing about it.
Fine.
That's
But
now,
again, if you get into it, you must be able to program things in a way where you move people towards a position or a place. So because leadership has to start from before you even assume the role. So you have to show leadership in your ability to reorientate, right? And and present a picture. You see, when Obama wanted to become president of the United States of America, right? He had a whole picture, and his work was for the Americans to see it, and they saw it. They saw where Obama was going, right? And then whether from the Republican states, the Democrats, the Democrat states, you see people following. They were following the message, right? But the individual had the power to drive a certain message
correct.
that moved the people. So you have to have that.
That's the point. The individual must have the power, the capacity to move the message and have the people move along with the message. But again, like you said, some of we have extremist thinking when it comes to decision making, and they're not fixed. Yeah, my message, my stand up for a particular leader, it shifts. Depending the location and all of that. So that's what I am. But that's what we are. So I would say you take color green. I'll go for Cornelia if elections were held today in District 13. But Musa is a good candidate, and if I was not supporting Joshua 2029, I was supposed to support Musa Belete over all of the candidates. If Joshua was not contesting, I would support Musa Belete over all of the
certainly
candidates.
if you're just going to vote, and Musa is a fun guy.
What do you mean if I was just going to vote?
But there are times people want to just vote and exercise.
No, I'm voting for leader. If Mr. Weir was not contesting 2029, I'm voting for. I have the choice to decide between all of the other presidential candidates, Mr. Bwaka on UP, Councillor Gonglo, the rest of the candidates. I will go for Musa. If Mr. Weir was not contesting, Musa will be my next choice.
Yeah. I still think Musa need to adjust his strategy.
If I were asked, if Mr. Weir was not contesting, I'm asked to form a coalition or a collaboration ahead of 2029. I would tell Mr. Cummings to select Musa Belete as his running mate, and I will support that ticket.
Yeah, I don't think Mr. Weir should not contest.
No, I didn't say that. I'm saying
for that possibility. Yes,
no, I'm saying if he's not contesting, But anyway. Maybe I'll show you. I received the text. I received it. But anyway, I think we can make progress. We can transition to something else. This is the statement written to Eddie Jaworo. Eddie Jaworo did some covert work for the Unity Party during the campaign period and all of that. But it seems like so this is what the legislature, the House, has written to NAMOD. And this letter is dated June 11, 2026. The Executive Director, NAMOD Partners for Democratic Development, SD Kuparo, blah, 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 blah. Dear Executive Director, I present compliments and write by directive of the leadership of the House, the Honorable House of Representatives, to kindly invite your leadership to appear before it on Monday, June 15, 2026 at 12 noon to provide clarity and supporting evidence regarding a report allegedly produced and circulated by your institution concerning the performance and development activities of lawmakers in their respective districts. Sir, this house's attention is drawn to a communication dated June 8, 2026 by Honorable Jerry Cordoba Yogbo Senior. I see you.
Oh, that my man, that Jerry. What? Hey, Jerry.
Representative Electoral District 12, Masurado County. That's Abu's representative.
Jerry's in fair every time the man getting F.
Alleging that a report has come to a public attention through journalists, social media platforms, and other public forums that has been used to grade and publicly assess members of the legislature, highlighting what the institution described as failures or shortcomings in the performance and development engagements of lawmakers across the country, and presented to the international partners and stakeholders. Please find attached below. In view of the above or aforesaid, the leadership requests that you appear to provide it with the following. 1. A comprehensive explanation on the methodology used in collecting and analyzing the data contained in the report. Anyway, let me go through the season. That 2, documentary and evidentiary support. Jesus. Validating the findings and conclusions presented regarding lawmakers and their districts. 3. The criteria and benchmarks used to grading or assessing the performance of lawmakers. Abula issue here. The geographical coverage, sample size, and categories of respondents consulted during the exercise, information on whether lawmakers or district stakeholders were contacted and or afforded the opportunity to respond prior to publication, clarification on the sources of information relied upon, and the mechanisms employed to verify the accuracy of such information, and finally, an explanation regarding the presentation and dissemination of the report to international partners and organizations. Best regards, sincerely, Major and Sion, Chief Clerk. And Eddie Jawolo issued this. He said, following the release of NAMO paper, he said, NAMO welcomes this engagement as an important opportunity for constructive dialogue or democratic dialogue between NAMUT as civil society and the Honorable House of Representatives of Liberia as an elected institution. We have responded to the invitation and reaffirmed that the purpose of the assessment was never to discredit the legislature or any individual lawmaker, but to promote transparency, strengthened citizen engagement, encourage evidence-based accountability, and contribute to improved democratic governance, and are ready to honor the request. Though it was yesterday, he hasn't posted any update from the appearance yesterday. But he said NAMOT recognizes the importance of strong democratic institutions and the critical role of an independent civil society in supporting citizen participation and public accountability. And you can go on. However, given the broader importance of civil society, of civic space, democratic freedoms, and the independence of civil society organizations, NAMOT will continue to keep citizens informed should this engagement evolve into issues affecting the ability of independent organizations to contribute meaningfully to public discourse and democratic development. So
that's NAMO's response,
yes,
right?
Yeah. NAMO.
And so I think they spoke well, right? But I know deep down they have a problem with it. They have a problem with the request because they feel placed on the spotlight. And, I mean, from the tone of the communication, and it's like you are the evaluator, and then you're being called to be evaluated. So you're like, most times you feel like, no, that one a credibility issue, and then you want to be sure who even going to evaluate you. But the people are using legislative powers. But from what I've deduced from all of this is that Jerry became angry that consistently Nemo keeps giving him failing grades. And that I think recently Nemo reported those lawmakers that presented, legislative report to their constituency or visited them and have through whatever means they came up with a whole report on it. And for some reason, our lawmaker keep flunking every other time he has to be evaluated. He flunks.
You and others are the reason why the men complete Namoto.
So my own big brother Jerry Yagwa, and things have been very tough on him to be frank. And I understand, Jerry, I understand the other thing, but at this point, it's about leadership, and that's what the measurement is tied around. And clearly, right? Mm-hmm. Even if you go and do an assessment in the district, I don't know what Mr. Yagwa would do subsequently, but he is very, very unpopular, right? So I know he has been making some political moves and some maneuvers, and his calculation now is that he has to start to do business with Thomas Falah, since Falah look closer to the presidency. And then what we saw subsequently, we saw the Ministry of Public Works gave him some machine, and then they started doing some grading on some community rules and stuff. Are those efforts going to trigger any change of mind in the people? There it remains another thing that we will see. But to the substance of the communication, I believe is not too timely, and it is just clearly demonstrating legislative overreach. Where you want to, this is a form of censorship. The people are doing independent work, and they're doing it for the benefit of the people, to inform them, to inform us on, because we elect you because you presented a platform that you can do it better, you can represent us properly, you can make better laws for us, right? And you can ensure proper oversight that the executive will deliver on its promises, the welfare and well-being of the Liberian people. So we need to be sure whether you are doing that effectively or not. So an organization moves in, establishes network to evaluate these things and measure people's performance. How you want to be working, you don't want to be graded. And then when you get graded, you're angry. So please provide a counter grade to what Nemo have said. Instead of getting angry and say, you Nemo can't hear. Who giving you money? Right? I want to see the way you can do your evaluation. And you're trying to undermine the independence of Nemo. If Nemo should surrender its metrics to you, you could diverge certain things out of that to be able to counter the man. And these are sensitive things. I'm sure Nemo would not be willing to just divulge, but they could use legislative power to suppress them into something. And that is why our democracy has become very, very dangerous today under Mr. Boakai. Things are now operating normally, and people are hijacking the system, and people are using power. So Jerry feels, close to the regime, to Falah's, and I call Nimbo, right? And now he can leverage executive, power, and summon the man. The speaker will definitely honor it, and the chief clerk will draft the letter. But if Jerry was still with the minority black, the letter will not go nowhere. So you see, so technically, the executive is using elements within the legislature. We saw it with Small Mobile Industry 3, right?
Yes.
Right, yeah. And the Yeke case. So this time now, Eddie has been getting himself into a bit of trouble with his old friends. I don't know whether it's fair to call them your old friends, but the UP folks, they used to be your friend. I don't know what's the level of the friendship now, but I think they've not been feeling so okay with some commentaries that Eddie has been rendering lately, the reports, and most times. But the party operates like the Republican in the US. They don't want to come direct to you, and they can be very timely. Right, but they would certainly get to you.
They use they found surrogates.
So they use surrogate process, and this is exactly what they're doing. So Jerry wants UP to help him redeem a face in District 12. So Jerry says anything UP wants, will join UP side. Fala won't go take out your clothes to dance for Baka, he will take out your own clothes, you dance too. Fala won't tie lapa on you, tie lapa. Fala wear anything you wear, try to appease UP. And he has been doing it very well. So UP say, okay, let's do something to me. So let's use them, man. My man, I bring out Eddie Jaolo, man. We'll put question mark on. And mind you now, it's also possible that some UP radicals have done some set of, investigation somewhere, and they have probably some iota of doubt and uncertainty in Eddie's
And they
credibility.
want to come,
So
like the speaker.
they want to put out that also.
You see, we read the report, you see the speaker's performance. It's appalling. The speaker will not obviously come out.
No. So it's okay. So Jerry, you go there. So Jerry will call the man. So, but when Eddie goes over there, trust me, they will find reason to embarrass Eddie. And something will obviously come out. And the work Eddie has done, he earned himself some enemies and he earned himself some friends. At some point, we and
It's
Eddie,
obvious.
at some point, we and Eddie were not cool, particularly me. But at another point, we'll get along, right? Because that's the work of what we do. And that's the beauty of democracy. You don't need to be my friend. I don't need to be your friend. If I think you've something with you each other, you know, and stuff. So, but this is an attempt to silence the civil society. Two things could happen. Either they will name and shame Eddie if Eddie has anything, that's ugly, and Eddie may not want it, so he will give in. There'll be some degree of concession behind the scene. So it's not just about Eddie Jaolo writing beautiful communication to put it out, but the public and people like us are very critical on what comes out. And the moment he goes for that, it comes out, and we will start to be very careful with his, with his reading, his report. And the moment we see them, we know something has happened behind the scene.
Yeah.
It's possible that's what they're calling him.
And I'll say this to the lawmakers and all of you listening to us this morning. You see, we have to be extremely careful as public officials. And I always say this about the legislature when it comes to engaging the legislature. The legislators, most of them have not projected themselves to be people who are really prepared for change. Let's not forget, Eddie Jaolo is not operating as Eddie Jaolo. He has a civil society organization. You call NAMO and say, come here. Come and furnish us with your data. There are a number of things in that report that the lawmakers are just acting on emotion and sentiments and all of that. They're angry. Don't forget, Action A is out. Don't forget, the Swedish government just pulled out. The Swedish government was one of the institutions that was sponsoring
the major
some of these
activities,
democratic activities around here, including NEC.
And that the reason they're coming after Eddie now. So these people gone, these are funding. So
exactly.
Where are you getting the
funding? They may have left. But their networks, their diplomatic networks remain here in this country. They still have friends, influential friends. You see, the last thing any democracy should try to do is to target speech, is to start censoring people's opinions. Democracy itself should be evaluated. Democracy should be assessed, critically assessed. Because we need to know how the actors in our democracy are performing. And there has to be a space created for that assessment to be done without any form of political interference. We can say we want to strengthen our democracy, and we do not want to create a space that will allow our democracy to be evaluated, or the actors or major actors in our democracy to be evaluated. When evaluation on the actors in our democracy is done, then and the results prove to be poor, then we get angry. So let's slide aside small.
But CDC time, that was not the case.
No.
Nobody went after Eddie Jaolo.
Staff of presidency, Namo Benye operated under presidency.
So you see
there
the
were lawmakers that were graded F.
Consistently?
Yes.
But one day they didn't rise.
Edward Ford. Talk to Edward Ford.
They will get angry.
How many times Edward Ford was graded F in legislative performance? Did you see President Sirleaf government going after Nimo or Ares then? No. She didn't go after them. President Wiakim, Namo was here. Namo released some strong reports about lawmakers, the government performance on projects and infrastructure programs.
Sometimes very biased.
Yes. Nobody, the government did not one day go after Eddie Jawolo and call and say, can you tell us where you got your data from, share your data with us, and all of that. He operated here. And because of the work that Eddie did, the Unity Party used some of the work that Eddie did to as propaganda or to propagate their message against the CDC government. You made reference yesterday to NAMO report. Today, you are calling NAMO to justify her report. The report that you were referencing yesterday as a reason to oust or replace George Weah. It's the same institution you are calling today to justify. Say, come here, can't tell how you did it. You didn't ask them yesterday how they did the report against, I don't want to say against, but how they did the report yesterday that did not seem to be in favor of the CDC government or the President Sirleaf Unity Party era. Today you're calling the people to come and tell you justify. That's not transparency. That's not accountability. That is that is political harassment. That is a broad day. A form of censorship. It is practical. We see it now. Come and tell us. If you can't, we deal with you. And are the words people can use? We deal with you. Eddie works for NGOs. NGOs hire him to do the proposal, and there are NGOs who want to sponsor democratic activities here. You have the NDI operating, doing democratic activities. They do these basic evaluations. They share their data and findings with their partners. Their partners review these data and findings and validate the findings and all of that, and authorize them to publish their report. So you say, ignore your phone, your funding partner, come here and review this information. I live in District 17. If Eddie Jawolo go, what's your name? Because they do report, they do recording. What's your name? Austin County, where do you live? District 17. Barber College. What do you make of your lawmakers' performance? TV areas in terms of representation, what do you think? I say it's poor. We can hardly see the man. Since Blue was elected, Blue has never been to this community in Barber College. It's on recording. My name is there. Namo takes the report. He goes. He plays it in his pool. He goes to James Kamara in Quaker. He gets the same finding. The legislature is telling Namo to take Austin Kawa, Abu Kamara, Abu Karanda, James John, Peter Bemi, and all of that from the different communities in Broward, Motokono, and so places, and carry to Capital Bay and say, these are the people we spoke with in District 17. Austin Kawa said this. Here's the recording. James Karana said this. Here's the recording. This is exactly what the House is requesting Namo to do, to go and reveal people's identity who desire to speak under confidentiality or anonymity. Say, don't call my name. Because they were doing survey. These are politicians. They don't want to place themselves in harm's way with their politicians. I may not want Blue to know that, oh, I said this about him, because I'm afraid that he may target me or his followers may target me. So when these samples of views are being collected from the different districts, they are collected under confidentiality clause. They are assured that we will not reveal your identity. How the hell now the House is calling Namo say, come and share with us your data. Be evidentiary. Show us who you spoke with. Don't just come call and say Peter Paul. Where do you speak with Peter Paul? Where does Peter Paul live? Do you have any evidence or any recording to verify that Peter Paul said this? Because you say you should come with evidentiary proof. It means you must come and prove beyond all reasonable doubt that if you said James David said this, you must prove that he said it. We need evidence. Our democracy has not gotten to that level yet. Some of us will not be behind these microphones and we allow our democracy, we allow you people to, reduce our democracy to this level. You can do that. Some people do sample views, political views, in fact, about people, about their leaders. Those are political views. Gather about their leaders. You think if I'm saying Abu just said Abu just use the word fake. I don't know fake or what kind of word he use about his lawmaker. Is it flunking? He been flunking. So in the case where somebody, Namo goes to all the different districts. Yeah, we spoke with the people. Yeah, we will call you, but honor anonymity. Or we send you form for you to fill in the form. So at times they do online stuff. We just did another. We just fill in another form. If the PE just circulated a form, I think you saw that form. The PE just circulated a form collecting, sampling views, opinions about press freedom in our country. I participated in that exercise. Abu just confirmed that he received the form from the PE and also participated in that exercise. And there are other journalists who received the form and participated in that exercise. Tomorrow, when PE publishes that, it means you call the PE to go and answer questions and reveal evidence. How he collected the opinions or the views and the findings and arrive at those findings. That's what you do tomorrow. That's what you will do tomorrow. Call PE, say PE, come here. We see that you've published this opinion, this piece about press freedom in our country. How did you arrive at this point? Share your information with us. Yeah. Here's the stuff. Here's the stuff. Those of you watching, I won't show you all this stuff. Yeah? Continental Survey on Working Conditions, Safety of Journalists, and Media Freedom in Africa. Yeah, those of you watching, I don't know whether you see it. You see the survey? You see the survey? This survey we journalists just participated in. Yeah, some of the questions they're asking here, the country you're from, yeah, the continent, the region, your sex, gender, age. Yeah, some of the professional role, staff journalist, freelance journalist, editor, broadcaster, online journalist, investigator. These years of experience, you put it less than 1 year, you started less than 5, this and that. So, are you a member of the journalist union or association? Section B, employment and working condition. What type of employment arrangement do you currently have? Permanent contract, temporary contract, freelance arrangement, verbal agreement, no formal agreement. So if somebody here at Freedom doesn't have formal agreement with Freedom and put it there, because you have to include your institution you're from. Tomorrow, information ministry will get vexed and say, PL, come here, I'll give all the information. Do you receive your salary payment regularly? Always on time, often delay, rarely on time, frequently unpaid? Does your journalism income meet your basic living needs? Yes, fully, partially. No, these are the options. Which employment benefits do you receive? Rating contract, health insurance, pay leave, social security pension, legal support. With this information, what do you think journalists in Liberia will be answering?
The reporters. You
yes.
Imagine what the reporters will
say. See. So if this report comes out tomorrow and we start running,
I participated in one, and that was about media financing.
Okay.
In Liberia.
Yeah.
Right. So in terms of the flexibility, the space in which how do media institutions get
Yeah, the
financing,
finance. Yeah.
the efficiency of it, the sources. You have to talk about that, and of course, advertisement. Public and private sources, right? Advertisement will come from, but generally in Liberia, most reliably, you count on that the public source, government source. But now the assessment was to look at what is the environment currently today as we see it.
Yeah.
And you can imagine what my perspective would be, And then a lot of other people, right? Because even the reporters out there, in terms of, if you ask them, in terms of contract and all of that, to the point where the government has censored the space in to all the way to the extent of press conferences.
Yeah.
To the extent of press conferences.
I mean,
They will say, I don't know who are going where. You saw the Ministry of Public Works is going to Fuya, right, for that groundbreaking. I saw the communication guy, how you call him?
Myers.
I saw Myers did a poll. I think the guys from Lofa complained, right?
Yes, I listened to that.
And then Myers came in, he responded, he tried to sound somewhere, but that's okay. But I find his response less justifiable, whatever. He said, in fact, the ministry only, I think, highlighted 3 institutions, EOBC, Spoon. Imagine all the networks in the country. Mika is saying we should go pay our taxes or our lesson fees. LTAs is after us and blah, blah, blah. But the government of Liberia should be giving businesses to the media institutions. The government has 1. The government select 3 to go there. Then where do you expect the rest of the other media to be? By the end of the day, when you want to clamp down on, critical opinion, then you put LTA people in a few. You put Mika people in a few. Business registration, blah, 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 right? But then this is exactly the reality. It goes to just everything we're trying to say about these reports and the way they come out, and then the government becomes so intolerant towards them. And I mean, actors in this in the society becomes very intolerant, but they forget where these things start from. A whole public war, a massive project. You have the major media outlets in the country. You sideline all of them because you don't want to pay media. And your thing is, if you're not giving them money, they will not. One time, listen to Dylan say, I said, this must be very clueless. You see, anybody we see giving money to, quote unquote opposition media, will fire you, will move you. I said, look at this boy, right? But again, that's how they're operating the space. That's how they're operating the space. They feel like that will push you into buying, and accepting to just promote them when they are not doing the things that require promotion. And it's bad for our democracy, it's bad for our space. And this is not going to stop to Eddie alone. Once you prefer critical opinion, it's obvious that Eddie opinions today might be a little more critical than some time ago. Austin is just obvious. Eddie have lost, like other civil society, have lost significant revenue streams, right? So they have to demonstrate to be able to attract, and that will give additional reasons. So this is even going to help Eddie in other way. So when you start to push Eddie to the extent, it allow him to create more opportunities. And the Swedish or whoever is living, so in as much that we are living, but we can't lead a man like this. The state is going after him. And you see, so but the guy only care about their power and to micromanage the society which they're feeling at. The more you think you're micromanaging the society, the more you're feeling. Whoever believes that with everything we've gone through, that 2 to 3 years will still be here, sharp, good, and even more competitive than the people they're whatever cool with. The very people who think that they're government, like kind of say UP journalists, them, right? Some of them still looking up to us. So you see, that's what can happen. By the end of the day, we're good. We're okay.
Yeah. So the House, we have to understand that our democracy has to thrive, and not honor this atmosphere. I mean, for the last 6 months, or I should say, under the leadership of Speaker Kun, I think they successfully managed to project the house as a hostile environment for critical, you know, to clamp down on critical views, critical opinions. Whether you are a member of the house or you are a non, you are a non-member. We saw the case with Sheikh Kuyate, all of that, calling him, subjecting him to an intimidation. And listen, I said this. This is not the making of the house.
You mean
Ask yourself,
check or number one?
oh, ask yourself, why is the Senate not getting involved? It's because the Senate has refused to allow herself to be used. Even if the protem may seem willing to do, the senators' majority have refused to allow themselves to be used by the
No,
executive to intimidate.
they are used at different stages. So.
Show that no, I'm saying to intimidate people for speech.
No, the Senate
Yes.
no one go there. There are a lot of people in
So
that
the
place.
House panel, the House say, okay, we are vulnerable, we are available for anything. Even if somebody criticizes the government, come to us. And you want to intimidate that person, come to us. We will use our gavel, our authority here to invite the person and question them or intimidate them. This is wrong. But again, that's our role here to say it's wrong. When it's right, we will tell you obviously that it's right. We support it. But it's wrong. Eddie has done no harm. The country is already accustomed to the activities of Eddie or Namut. You just start chasing civil society people and all. You chase politicians. You chase Unity Party people. Yekere, Majabatane, they are all being chased all of the government. We're studying Swakoko, they are all being chased out. Then you chasing opposition people. You're chasing ruling party critics. People who criticize the ruling party, you chase them out. And you are chasing civil society people too. You don't want a country or a society where there will be no critic. The only reason why probably the media has not been practically, some of us have not been practically chased out, I think it's because the media seem to some extent the only beacon of hope now for Liberians. So probably you target them indirectly. You know, like Abu made reference to financial strangulation and all of that. Yes, you could use that means. But that does not have physical impact on the utterances of majority of those who have decided to brave the storm, to boldly engage on the issues. Forget about the personality, on the issues. So the House will have to reconsider a lot of things if she must rebrand. But I'm not too sure she's willing to rebrand. So we're going to see a lot of these things happening. Yesterday it was dramatic at the Ministry of Transport, and if I got the information, I saw the information on your post. Yeah, it was dramatic. The picture, in fact, and I was like, so the story is told that the LMTR does not have a print machine of its own. That LMTR does not have a print machine of its own to produce the license plate and the driver license. That the machine they were using or relying on to print belongs to the John Ubuti, who originally won the contract from the government and whose contract got terminated by the same government, by the UP government after they took over. So after they awarded they terminated his contract, awarded the contract to LTM. LTM now did not have a machine. They started or continue using his machine for printing. So this day, John Ubuti got very say, they don't say I tell you, they I go for my machine, I go for my property. He said, I'm going for my property. I'm going for my machine. And so John Ubuti walks to the Ministry of Transport and then instructed his boss to aid him in getting his machine out of the Ministry of Transport. And I saw the picture on Abu's page where the machine was posted, was already deposited in his white pickup, and they took it away. So this adds insult to injury. Already the men are producing woody. The men are already producing woody. They are going to the men printing machine again. And my driver license expired. I gotta go renew it. So I don't know how they will print it the way the men taking a machine now.
Yeah, so the thing, it has been evolving, and at the end of the day, the conclusion of all of this comes to is that the government did not do proper due diligence, real-time assessment of preparedness capacity wise on the part of LTMI, right? So by whoever relationship or interest, they just rushed into executing what they saw as a concession, and then they felt like, oh, we don't care for the fact that there is a name called concession, and we can make the argument that this is a concession and this is a PPP, and then we can go ahead and flout this other agreement. It's less whatever than this other one, blah blah. So they decided to proceed that way. And then the legal conversations were held, and lawyers spoke to aid about the procedure, the processes. And, they went to court back and forth, and the court admitted that there was some wrong along the line, but the government insisted that she wanted to proceed with LTMI, and for which they did. Of course, like we always say in our opposition to it, we always told you that, look, we will oppose these things based on the merits and demerits, or we do not have the power to determine what ultimately happened. It still lies with the very government, but it paints the government in a picture that you have to know, right? So they went ahead, and clearly LTMI did not have capacity. They did not have equipment. They never had manpower, all of that. So they have been struggling with all of that, to the point where our police officers had to be reduced as employees of LTMI, providing LTMI services while they're being paid our tax dollars as police officers to be ensuring safety and protection, right? Generally. But when you go to LTMI office, you see police people, and where they weren't working for them, doing the job for them. And I don't know what the arrangement was. That arrangement was not in the public. Now, fast forward, the lack of capacity became exposed. The public started to see it. And it started when people would go for documentation, and then they would take the whole while. There will be delays, not knowing they did not have sufficiency. And the quality, people started complaining on it. Even the license, the driver license. All of a sudden, video emerged of LTMI people filing or scraping zinc sheets to put license plate on it. And then raise the issue. People started complaining that, as soon as they wash their car, the whole thing would drop off, the sticker would move on it, and then it became a problem. I think they did some study and say, okay, the wood will hold more than the zinc. You put the sticker on the wood, probably the fee, it will hold more than on the zinc, depending on the texture or whatever. So they decided to go for wood. They brought the wood on again, it backfired. And then when the noise came, report from Spoon, I think it was Spoon or some other outlet, reported that overnight, LTMI people are going to the ministry to forcefully take license plates belonging to MDMC that were
Printed
and kept at the place there. So that news came out again. We beat on them and blah blah. So they have been going through a lot. The legislature took interest. They invited them, and I think the Senate as well. And then it even became a problem between they and the sergeant at arm, blah blah blah. The guy was angry, Mel trying to display the thing. We pass all that moment. So clearly, LTMI accepted that she does not have the capacity, and they have to stop trading illegally to do it the right way, and accept the public disgrace by going to properly negotiate and get MDMC to transfer its equipments to them and to transfer a license plate that he has brought in the country to roll out. Because like we know, after every 5 years, the plate family has to change. So that's how MDMC brought in a whole new family of plate. But then they were still operating with the old one, and that old one they were operating was a duplication of MDMC previous license plate that they also had to raise issue with them on. So it has been a whole conundrum of fraudulent transactions. Now, my information is that the conversation was not yielding the necessary outcome as MDMC would have wanted. But then the materials are still there. They're getting report that these people are illegally using the materials because these are the machines that are used to do initials. Because the other regular plate, you can pre-do that one and just ship it. But if Austin want to initial his plate, and that machine is there, and only MDMC has it. So the company or UP told that they get all the sophistication, the foreign company, they didn't even get perforating machine. They got to be taking file, be filing things. They take sawing plane to put lesson play on it. Fast forward.
They got machines that do equal as us.
Yeah.
Equal as us.
Fast forward, they didn't get nothing. So the man say, okay, gentlemen, let's get out in there. But before that time, the entire regime has been on its knees, begging, but they won't play smart. So at the end of the day, the last conversation I got last night was that threat and all started coming in, and the men are businessmen, get other businesses doing. So he has at this point give in. After taking the machines out, you saw it on his pickup, right? They drove it, carried to his facilities, and put them there and stuff. And then other people start calling. I can't call all the names of the people that were calling up to last night. So today, they were supposed to go sit down finally and agree. So the MDMC thing is, Mr. Ibo thing is, because they've already started painting, because if this thing happen, the whole system will go down. The government may see that as sabotage. They'll come after you. Do you want to run yourself into that?
Even though they did not listen, even though we flagged that MTR didn't have the capacity.
It's because of our post that they started to put extra
pressure on Djibouti.
So if not, right, if had it not gone in the public, right, in the media, they will have found a way to chastise this man out of it. But now it has forced them now, because already in the public, we have the information, we're talking about it. So, okay, we agree. So I'm told ATM consented that they will rebuy, right? They will rebuy the materials, the machine, the generator, the watering, anything that they will need, and even the license plate. And the cost, I'm told, the last time I checked, is over $4 million.
They will pay. They have the money.
They have to pay. And that is for the license plates that were brought in. So these machines now, add the cost, probably go around 7-8 million, but they have the money, they will pay. They've been collecting all our money. How much have they reported so far?
They said they reported some more money. I saw this
update
from
1 million.
Let me compare those.
We're in the 6 months.
Yeah, we got LRA.
Right?
Said they will pay small money.
They pay small money, that's what I'm saying, but we are going 6 months. And they're paying that kind of money. And they're running a system where they themselves are in charge. The revenue sharing thing is not clear and transparent. So after 6 months, you say, LRA, like 1 million here. You cheating the country like chicken change.
Yeah, because people giving the government, I think 35% now.
35%. Yeah. So, but how do we know how much 35% of revenue?
That's where LRA comes. Mm-hmm. So
that's why LRA has to be a part of it. Everybody see what's coming in. Then we do the percentage. What go to LRA goes there. What go to TMR goes there.
So let's play this. This is why LRA has said that total transport revenue target 2026 is 13 million. To date, LMTR has remitted to the government consolidated account 1 million. LMTR has been only signatory to the Trump. Okay, so 1 million out of 13 million for 2026. We're in the middle year of the budget of the fiscal period. But let's listen to LRA.
The transport sector, all the different fees, says in this year's budget, 13 million. 13 million.
That's what to contribute to the budget.
LMTR did not start implementation until March 1st. Did not start the issuance of the different licenses and collecting the different fees until March 1st. So from March 1 to date, I know they've made one transfer of a little more than $1 million. $1,027,000 is what has been transferred to the consolidated account. So in a contract, there's a number of things that need to be cured. One of them is that the way the contract was ratified, LMTI is supposed to collect the money and remit government share. So under that term and condition, they've created an account and they alone have visibility on that account.
You can listen to Double. I know the people. The major got to say Double is not feeling okay about it.
The transitory accounts. And those accounts
initially Double had opposition to this.
So
yeah. These are difficult times, man. You know, everybody, people, but that's what we have. When the society treads in the direction where integrity have to be, subjected to accommodate, then there's a problem. Yeah, there's a serious problem. Does this make sense to you? You raise money on behalf of the country not see it. You wake up in the morning, you say, oh, and let's fast in here for you. And you have to take that. According to this amendment, this arrangement, you have to take that. And what Double said that LTMR actually began issuance
in March.
I mean, is factually incorrect.
Yeah, that's not accurate.
It's incorrect. So technically, what the government has considered to do with LTMR is to waive every other revenue that they collected prior to March. So the state is being robbed. Daylight robbery.
Because they were already operating while the struggle was on. They were operating.
They were issuing tickets. They were
yes.
Right? So who gets all those money? And you come to tell us that you're the people accounting period start from March, and from March, April, May, June, you're telling us that they've only paid 1 million and change. And this is supposed to be a rescue government. This is supposed to be a government of people who understand the arts and crafts of governance. Where are we going? But again, they say that,
and then we have to see. Anyway, we can make it further up because we have this. This is confusing. It means we have to see the revenue breakdown because March is the last month for the first period of the fiscal year. So if you're saying between March and current, LTMR has remitted a little over $1,028,000. It means there is a portion of that money that came as that is recorded as brought forward.
Mm-hmm. Since February 2025,
yes.
LTMR started operation.
Sure.
Issuing tickets, doing every traffic related.
Because January, March, April begins the second quarter of the budget period, the fiscal period. So it means money came from, say, how many came as balance brought forward to the second quarter of the fiscal period. Where was it accounted? Shifted because the hard government budget structure now. We spent 37 million for 3 months. We're in the 3 months. We spend for the 8 million. So yeah, you see why people don't. The Ministry of Finance does not insist on the government on the spending entities to produce their at the outing. Because when these outings are, because the PFN law is clear that they should be produced quarterly. Because the budget year is divided into 4 quarters. So when Abu is spending for the first quarter, January, February, March, he must present an autumn report for us to see how he spent the money. Based on how you spend the money, we'll know whether you spend all, whether you spend it the railway, or whether whether some money left over. That applies to revenue too. Because there are times where you're supposed to spend 60 million for the first quarter of the budget of the of the fiscal year, and then you raise 62 million. I mean, there's 2 million excess. That will be recorded as well for. So everything about the mining operation just confusing. And there are people who are competent people in there. I know they decide to do the wrong thing because they've been influenced or macro.
The arrangement is criminal.
Yes.
And sometimes when you say it, and then people say, "Oh, but the arrangement is clearly criminal."
Because we can't be talking about transparency and accountability, and our actions and inactions are just far outside transparency, accountability. There's a parallel between transparency and willingness to be transparent. We speak about transparency, but our action speaks the otherwise. And Double Down is supposed to be all of LRA at this time as an integrity person or somebody who is seeing or
When
viewing.
a job had to come by, so you only for me, I only expect
Yes.
that certain people should exhibit some degree of. But
Because come
again,
think about it, you can't be sitting somewhere you don't support a particular policy, a particular system, and you're still sitting and allowing the wrong things to happen, even though you do not support it. And that's where I try to make reference to people that can't stop Gonglu. Then Gonglu, all I think people may say about him, when he felt belittled or humiliated or not consulted on issues, he felt displeased with the manner in which certain decisions were taken by President Salif, especially with unannounced restructuring or dissolution of the cabinet. Then one said, I'm okay, I'm quitting. I'm walking away. Look, you can't be in a position of leadership or
Women
trust.
is one such
Thank you.
good example.
Thank you.
And for me, of all of them,
Thank you.
for some reason, I think I really hold a great deal of respect for women. I
Exactly
mean, this
so.
is the second time he almost created it.
You must learn to walk
Right.
away, step aside.
As much as why he served as mines minister, and our criticism was because a lot of things was happening there.
Mhm.
So it's like he entered over it.
He was the head, so you had to take
Yeah,
responsibility.
so
You had
he
to
take
take the shots, the
responsibility.
bullets.
And I just needed him to be a little more punchy, but probably he had a reason why he was not. But since he left, we now understand that,
He was not the problem.
He was not the problem. But a cartel actually wanted to be in charge, and ever since the cartel got in charge, we
Things
see
are quiet.
we see how it looked like. So, an ambassador speaks about that, right? And a letter is written for that ambassador to go back home,
So you made it into our business.
right?
Which business again?
Say this is not within the remit of the vice president's work, as per what we know, what we've read, and this is a problem. Vice president gets angry, and then he coerces to a larger extent the government functionary, and this ambassador is supposed to be, removed from the country, and this is where we are.
By the way, we have received an audio recording that we have to. It involves the whole UP cartel, political cartel from 2023. The things that interplay. AB Kuman is in the recording. AB Kuman role he played. The Nima angle against the president and the UP people. Kafan name is in the recording. He and Jeremiah Kung got issue, and again Jeremiah Kung, and they all work with him. With Kafan, President Braga seems to be preparing Kafan and all of that. So everything, but we have to edit to remove a voice from there. Yes, yeah. The person voice will get her. Yeah, so it was
but these are open secrets, though.
Yeah, so,
anyway, but it's important for the people to hear, probably listening to the recording. But these are things that
we just need a recording. AB Kuman name the recording. Jeremiah Ko name there. Tomo Father name there. Kafan name is there. Johnson, I think Senator Johnson name is there in the recording. Right? But Nima is angry. I mean, that's a summary. Nima is actually angry. But everything is in the public is fake.
Where in Liberia is not angry is when Kimon happened.
And this is somebody who is close to Jeremiah Kung. Yeah, in the recording. Somebody who close to Jeremiah Kung. me see what I can get. Play
Like
a
Babulu
teaser.
country, there women are giving birth in the bush.
Yeah.
Yeah. About how they call Bodo Kane.
Play. What do we call it?
I heard
Man?
Bodo Kane yelling in the background. LTN will be screeching out when Senator Thomas Yaya Nimle raised the issue and tried to speak his mind about it. They're not rescue. They're not rescue government. Oh yeah, be defending. They're not rescue. That what women in Bapolu Forest giving breath. The man will have to work, go back to Kumu, he told the Kumu, said, no, I get for now. I said, the minister, the make you, the public means,
Como assim? I get voice. Como telemedicine. Forget it. I get voice in the government.
remember, I want to come by, remember, two different times. Well, I want waiting for him. The man will have to work, go back to Kumu, he told the Kumu, said, no, I get for now. I said, the minister, the make you, the public means, the recommendation of the so we get no more than you want to the public.
So we have to edit this, and we'll play the full recording tomorrow. We'll do the editing today, remove our source force from in the recording, and then we'll play it on the show tomorrow. It's a rich, juicy recording. It reveals a lot of sensitive information. How police people, how pilot security officers were placed into police uniforms with badge, number, and everything. And they look at two Bolo acting as police officers. How ballots were shifted from Jowiya to Unity Party. The man top everything, you know. The man was angry. The man was angry. Yeah. Angry about waiting. The man open your phone. You see conversation with me, American. See, easy. I tell you, easy.
Then I screwed him, man. Please.
Man, 3 years now, almost 3 years now, walking on your car. You see. So, but that's what we are. That's politics. Everybody will not benefit, but everybody is supposed to benefit. Okay, so we can transition to. How about you send me this recording? Actually, I didn't audition it, but we have to play it about this lady. This lady. This lady situation with the. It shows the it shows the urgent need for our health sector, the challenge or challenges that our health sector is faced with that nobody is talking about. Let's listen to her narrative. Let's listen to her. GFK story.
I came to give birth in JFK Hospital April 5th. I landed at April 7th. My name is Justina Wong. I came to give birth in JFK Hospital April 5th. I landed at April 7th. There was no way for me to give birth myself, so they carried me for operation. When I entered the operation room, I met a lot of people there. But it was 3 person who gave the injection to my back. 2 men, 1 woman. The first man tried, no way. The first man took me more than 4 times on my back. No way. The second man to come and try, the woman to try, no way. After the operation, they said they made a mistake on me. All the time they were joking me, they made a mistake on me, the bad blood. They need to tell my spinal cord. The bad blood setting in my spinal cord. They mom making all 2 money and my son. Say I can't get the hospital here. And I spam my horse here, stay here, and I said, "Feeling too much. I can't sleep. I can't walk. Because of the bad blood saying that my spinal cord, I can't walk. See my phone. I even using tube to pee inside. I can't pee by myself, I can't pee by myself. My cells weak. I can't pee by myself, I can't pee by myself. You see the tube? You see the tube pulling me from the pee inside, you see the pee there? Yeah, you see. And you see pimples.
The other day was there was an infant who's became amputated because of poor decision. because of poor decision. And the story is told that I think a nurse aide was sent to go and give injection to the baby, and they may have given the wrong dose or what have you, and then the baby left hand turned dark, black, really black. They had to amputate the baby. This is another narrative from JFK again, and that was JFK. This is another narrative from JFK. A lady goes to give birth. She could not deliver normally, so they had to do C-section. Normally, they will have to give you injection to numb the back or other places to perform the operation. 3 persons. This is a video. 3 persons wearing work clothes. Just in case say doctor clothes. Try to give her injection at the right place, and they could not find the right place to give injection. 3 human beings, certificated license.
So supposedly certificated.
Because they're not supposed to be in there and not be certificated. And this lady is saying to us that her spinal cord weak. She can walk. She's not pooing regularly. She's not peeing regularly. She's using tube. Because of the failure or inability or lack of capacity of 3 persons who were supposed to be licensed or who were supposed to be licensed nurses or doctors, struggling to find the right spot to issue injection. Injection that all these nurse aides around here are giving people. And I'm a victim of that. I'm a victim of that.
They seen JFK?
No, not JFK. The first time I had gone to remove my tooth, I actually wanted to remove all the two. The guy successfully removed the first one. The second one, the guy he issued the injection, but I'm like feeding people. The guy just trying to jack you want to hook the teeth and jack it off. So I had to no, forget it. And I forget it. Imagine somebody try to use force to pull your tooth up, and you say forget it, and you just left it there. I had to wait for a year. I was advised to wait for years for the tooth to reposition before I go back to remove it. And within the first 3 biggest hospitals in Liberia, that one of them I'm talking about. If I ELW, what I had that name for? ELWA. That thing happened to me. I had to. Now I'm still waiting for the years it took me to wait for to go back. But those are people who are supposed to be licensed. The other time I took my daughter somewhere for injection. But I mean, see the girl is struggling to find the girl's vein. She will juke so, take it off, juke so 3 times. Now, right now, I'm talking about somebody who is 3 years old at the moment. And I'm talking about last year. So imagine juking 2 baby 3-4 times to find the right spot to issue injection. I mean, these things happen but they are rare. These are rare situations. They should be rare situations. You open the telephone lines now and ask the people to share their experiences just about injection. Wrong choices across our health facilities. There will be many persons calling to share their experiences. A situation happened at Kade Hospital. And that guy died. The guy died instantly, Abu. Instantly. The girl went and took over, did not review the patient's chart to know what to issue, and just follow the log, the medicine log, and just started issuing as first dose, second dose, third dose. She went and gave the second dose that the person had already taken. Like I when he fell off, a cardio attack. He never came back until we had to bury him. The hospitals cannot be struggling. We can sit down here every morning, evening, and night, causing nurse. I will call it nurse. But constructively engaging the government that hey, we are engaged into wasteful spending. Let's divert some of these monies at least to upgrading the capacity of our medical doctors and healthcare givers. Let's equip our hospitals, our health facilities with medication, equipment to work with. You go to some health facilities in the night, no light. In the day, some emergency rooms can be dark. People using torchlights to administer medication in 2026 in this country. You speak these things, people get angry and call you names. We can't be in 2026. The health ministry continue to be the only entity that constantly carry the highest budget, but has the highest challenges in our country. What kind of irony is that? Look at the irony. The health ministry is always accounting for the highest budget, highest allotment. But on the contrary, the health sector has the highest challenges, ranging from undercapacitated individuals to undercapacitated medications in the hospitals. You go to education, the same narrative. The same narrative. More money spending in the education sector, more problems emerging on a daily basis in the education sector. Where are we going? How are we making decisions? How are we trying to solve these problems? Who knows whether this girl might even be able to walk? We pray she does. These are issues that the legislators are supposed to be calling, or these are people the legislators are supposed to be calling. The health minister is supposed to be living in that capital building every day. If they truly want to exercise their authority, honor their oversight responsibility to ensure that the system, the sectors can work effectively for the people, not to be calling journalists, media people, civil society people, and intimidating them, harassing them, trying to censor their works. You call education minister, she goes and speaks series. She leaves from there with all the lawmakers smiling as if to say the problems have been solved. She goes back to her office. They go back to their offices. The problems increased the next day. The health minister goes there and to talk about employee training, talk about salary thing, talk about remunerations, talk about medications in the hospitals and all of that. She leaves from there. The lawmakers are smiling. The problems increase the next day. And more people are dying, falling victim to wrong choices being made by healthcare givers. Don't get me wrong. There are some good people, good doctors, good nurses, committed, hardworking, effective. You go to the hospital, you see someone running around, busy. Someone don't even have telephone. They put their phones in a bag, lock it up, they pass it around. You call whole day, you will not get it until they leave.
I mean, it's sad.
It's sad.
You know, and here's where I want to take it from, right? You said, I mean, significant budgetary allotment are made to the health sector, but yet still we see these things. So then the question becomes, where does the money end up? The money we give to health ministry, where do they go to? Training, compensation, right? Equipment. Because from January to December, I mean, it became worse ever since Mr. Bwaka became president. And this is why people like us believe and will insist that Mr. Boubacar is a terrible old man. Ever since he came to this country, everything has gone down, every sector. This is healthcare. This is the life of our people. And Mr. Boubacar and his wife drove to the place there. They went there. They started taking picture. And he's saying how the place is smelling nice. And this and that. He walked out of the place. So refusing to demonstrate a leadership foresight to understanding beyond the fragrance and being able to ascertain the actual issues beyond the stage and appearances of what you see. Because obviously when the president is going, people will clean the place, they put nice scent and everything, they will put the little area you're going in order. He has cared never to go beyond where they have asked for him to come, to see what Liberians are going through daily at JFK, what patients go through. Look, and I respect the institution very greatly. I mean, this is exactly where I prefer, because my thing is referral hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer that. I don't want to be somewhere you got to get me there. So let me be there. And, so, but when these kinds of news starts to come, then it exposes that there is capacity bankruptcy. I mean, management will have to come and clear that.
In the face of you.
Because for 3 supposedly qualified nurses, or whoever you want to call it, to perform the simplest task of identifying where, an injection is supposed to go on a patient that's, or in an already life-threatening situation. And then you start to go and do guessing on that person. Try and error. 2 lives at stake. 2, maybe less, 2 or 3 or whatever, right? Life at stake. The mother and the unborn. And then you take a largely untrained, insufficiently qualified people and assign them there while you are seated in your beautiful offices. And a lot of you sometimes are on Facebook defending government, while under your nose, somebody's wife, somebody's daughter, right, is being exposed to life-threatening danger because of procedures. And these things are happening in Liberia because there is no accountability. The health sector, right, and the Ministry of Health is not even considering moving us to a position where we will hold these health practitioners accountable for what happened. You have got no reason to administer a medication that is not meant for a patient and that leads to problem. And they're like, oh, sorry. And sometimes they cover it up. Sometimes most of the bodies you go for to these hospitals, right, they are not natural deaths. Medical malpractices. What is the bold or the appeal mechanism we have as a country that if you feel, you can go and question why the person died? Today, you and somebody will be sitting right on Brush here doing things, and then you hear the next day they go to JFK or somewhere, and all of a sudden you say, oh, the person passed. How did that happen? Right? And when you're talking about this, you get emotional because we all have experience with JFK. And this is not just criticism, but this is mostly to demand efficiency.
Because it's possible the management may not even be in the know of these things.
Okay, maybe I already agree with that.
It makes it necessary for us to flag these things.
But sometimes when I go to these places, unless people who are able to identify me, but most time I let it go in my low-key regular. I go if you say that line here, I stay in the line, we all pass through. And I'm not trying to create a scene where you want to recognize and try to give me that kind of privilege, because I want to have the experience of the ordinary man.
All the occasions I tried, it didn't work.
Good. I go to Gene David, and yeah, it can be very tough, but again,
Somehow we see you.
Yeah,
recognizing
exactly. Especially, yeah. But sometimes before it happens,
you already have some few minutes experience.
Exactly, right? I go to Gene David sometimes, and I see they get small baskets in. What a small basket there for? And if you not pour in a basket before your own ticket time read
that offering.
Before your own ticket time read that problem. So irrespective of your emergency, they give you ticket. The basket saying basket not talking to you, nobody talking to the basket. But you see movement around the basket. But that movement determines your ticket number, actually. So our people go through these things daily.
Monitoring the
of course,
deposit.
Of course.
Seeing the faces of the people that are visiting the basket.
So if you subject a patient to these kinds of stuff, internally something is going on. So by the time that person reaches there, who knows? There could be a collapse, there could be a breakdown. So this is sad, and it has been trending, and we're not seeing any responsible action from the administration of the JFK to ensure that there is proper accountability. And when you check it out, the guardian of this, or probably the husband or whoever, may be challenged. So they may not have the wherewithal to push this thing further. And in the end, probably at some point, if she survives, she has to live with it. And this is, so you see many people out there appearing, looking somehow, it's from the system. And people who are well off, who think they have money and they have privileged position, they don't care. We'll talk about it. Oh, they will finish talking about it. But one way or the other, you get fed. Somebody in your cycle, some relative will go there, something will happen, and blah, blah, blah. It's sad, man. Very, very sad. And then somebody think we should come here and serve the regime milk and honey. And if we don't serve them milk and honey, then that means, we are trying to create a situation. But if you see human being lives are being treated like pet, if you see other people, the same way you cherish your family, you can put yourself in people's shoe. Imagine that lady was your wife or your sister, how you would feel that somebody had to be guessing on her like that. My man, that moment, the way that moment is so traumatizing, and you're sitting there. So you see somebody come out of that place and start to narrate that story to you. It's so disgusting. So very disgusting. And this is happening when Bouakai is president, the most experienced man. Just like Musa Belete is saying, he's the most educated than every other person that want to be president. Bouakai told us he was most experienced and he knows the job. And he has been there. Health sector failing. Education deplorable. Extortion going on in the education sector under Mr. Bouakai. Right? Rule of law. Ever since it has been broken down.
No, the Americans have said that they
ever since. So pretty much tell me where it's actually working. Ministry of Finance. The civil service has become extremely political. Right now, you're in the civil service, you can speak freely. Your right to free expression. People are literally inching. Civil servants have grievances, they can't come out. You take a draconian policy and give them to sign on because there is difficulties to get employment in the country. So this is the style of leadership that Mr. Bouakai has brought to the country. And then the primate speaks about that. And then they start insulting the man. So you insulted the man of God, and then God acted in a way that you are still finding it difficult to draw the connect. 1 week later, you are insulting the primate. The following week, God exposed your cocaine dealing in the country. No. You struggling now, you don't forget about the primate. That God working so. The woman say God beating them so. Yeah. So man, I think it's unfortunate, but nothing's going to happen.
It is.
This is just one of the cases that's coming. So you can imagine what's happening in the rural areas.
And we're about to open the land. You see, come here, testimonies. You know the day Oliver got married, that I just left my sick bay. I was really sick for over a month. Just in the middle of my sickness,
Which one? The one we went for? Or the
I
traditional?
took wedding in me.
But I thought the traditional. I thought the men will do the well wedding.
Which one? I mean wedding there. So in the middle of my sickness, I had emergency. So I was rushed to the nearest, and the nearest hospital was Redemption. It took me over 15 minutes to get attended to. Real pain in my stomach pain. It took me 15 minutes, over 15 minutes to get attended to. Even when the first nurse came to me, "Oh, what are you doing? How you feeling? What happened to you?" I come here.
Yeah.
She left again. The 15 minutes, I started checking again. It took over 10 again minutes. I didn't do it. There's no bed, though. No bed. Yes.
You're standing, so you experience
But
that.
yes. No bed.
Damn it.
My sister worked there, but I didn't call her. So that feeling, that strength just came to me. I said, let me go through this and see how it ends. So I didn't call my sister. Got a friend there who I think he was in charge that night. I didn't call him. He's a medical doctor too. And I got some people working, some friends that working in the lab and all around there. I didn't call anybody. It took over 45 minutes before I even got bed. Yes. When I got bed, and then they started to ask for my name. There's a nurse there who finally identified me. Because you know it's been long. She and I went to school together. But she was my senior. So that Ozzy Kawayo. Then I started to see some
urgency apply.
Yes. So I saw her running around. She came out. She attended me outside, running around, applying some urgency and all of that. And then a doctor came now, a medical doctor came to see me. And then the entire story changed. Then I said, suppose or in case this girl had not identified me, or she didn't know me, how long was it going to take me to even get treated? Because just to get there, it took me over 30 minutes. So imagine the ordinary person going to a hospital who nobody can see and recognize or identify what they go through on a daily basis for our health sector. These things happen in all the places, all the workplaces, all the sectors. You go to a business registry to get their business register. You must know somebody there. You go to National Identification Registry. You must know somebody there to get there to get processed. You go to the what do you call the place to get a birth certificate. You have to know somebody there. The system is not built to allow to give yes.
What the system is built, you can operate.
You walk through, get processed, get service, and walk out. We deploy bureaucracy that compel everybody to get treatment on the basis of our connection, seniority, or status. The system say those with higher status or better economic status must get served before or over those who do not have, or those who have smaller financial status in society. Okay, any build a system, but that's how people were getting service. George Riakin, he's sporting in Chaklai. United Party is in power. 3 years running. Two things. They are unable to build or rebuild the system because any build it, Riakin is sporting in Chaklai. So they're coming now to rebuild. But 3 years running, they are unable to rebuild the system to allow the system work for itself. When we ask the question, then where is the experience? So many get vexed. But frankly speaking, we still need to see, I still believe and still accept this as a hard reality that Mr. Barker actually an experienced public servant. He been there for long. He is supposed to know a lot of things, how to do their problems, how to solve those problems. The fact that the problems are not being solved, it means he's not in charge. Because Boko, they got the Botswana president. I'm trying to get his first name. I think Demi Boko or something. He told his cabinet ministers in one of his meetings, he said, "Don't come to me with problems." He said, "Don't come to me with problems. I know the problems. I'm the president. I know the problems." He said, "I live here. I do not live in heaven. I do not live in space. I live here on earth in this country with everybody. I know the problems. So do not come to me with problems. Come to me with solutions." We were elected to solve problems. Complaints do not solve problems. Our responsibility is to derive solution because we have already told the people to give us 5 years. That is a borrowed time we are living on. So we should use the 5 years to derive solutions to the problems because the people are already aware that we have solution to the problems. We can't go back to the people and start complaining that there are problems, there are challenges. No, they don't want to know. They don't want to hear. They are aware that there are challenges. That's why they gave us 5 years to solve the problems. So if I were elected president and I appoint you as minister, I'm appointing you to derive solutions. Don't come to me complaining. I'm already aware. This is the case with Liberia. We are complaining. You talk about finance ministry, Gafan say, what did Tua do? Tua didn't do anything. That's how we put you there. You talk about information ministry, Eugene, Jeremy Piase, what did Eugene Nangme do here or Ledger who really do here? They didn't do anything. That's why Baka did not retain them and put you there. You talk about agriculture, friend, I don't know, Nuta will say, what did Jenny May Cooper do here? Jenny May did not do anything. That's why Baka did not retain her. You talk about LPRC, Emoto say, when you were here, you didn't do anything. That's why Baka did not retain what's it they did need? And the list goes on and on and on. Because you told the Liberian people, we said there were no problems. We admitted there were challenges that could have been solved, but could not be solved in 6 years. You said you could fix the problems, you could arrest the problems and rescue them in 6 years.